All right. We're going to go ahead and just hear until we get some of the members here. You got 2 minutes, Representative Bruce. You got 2 minutes.
Okay, I can do that. This is a House Bill 882, bipartisan bill that actually was co-sponsored by the chairman and the chairman of the other Judiciary Committee to correct something that happened a couple of years ago when we passed legislation to stop people from charging folks from taking mugshots down off the internet. And so now they found a way around that where they were, instead of charging people to take it down, they're selling ads and still keeping innocent people, their mugshots out on the internet after they've been exonerated. And this bill corrects that by basically saying they can't put the mugshots up until the person is convicted of a crime. That's the essence of it.
Less than a minute. Thank you. Everybody else in the crowd, take note. Representative Bruce, I know there was a concern about those that have been convicted previously and violation of probation. I know there's going to need to be an amendment to this,
Okay.
which I think would still accomplish the intent of your goal, but make sure that we also make the public aware of those that are repeat offenders. So
Right.
We'll have to take that up at a little later time, but are there any questions from members of the committee? All right, seeing none, thank you.
Okay. So we'll
Come back to you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, next up, I'm going to take Senator Ben Watson with SB 443. And Senator, I know you've presented previously on this for the full committee, so brevity is the soul of wit.
I am known for brevity. I appreciate that. This has to do with unsanctioned, unpermitted events in a municipality, which, by the way, it is backed by GMA and ACCG. So if you have an unsanctioned, unpermitted event, and it causes a public nuisance, which is key, then if the city has to pay for the security, porta potties, and all the other stuff that goes along with that, then they're able to recoup the expenses from the promoter or promoters. And that's basically it in a nutshell. Chairman Petrie has had a companion bill. Mine moved a little bit faster through the Senate, so that's why we're here today. It's a little bit time sensitive in that these events will be starting up very soon. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Thank you, Senator. We'll come back to you once we get our numbers.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next, I'm going to take House Bill 1099, Representative David Huddleston. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee, to allow me to come back before you again today. I'm going to be speaking on, like I said, Georgia Code Title 16721, related to criminal trespass. Basically, what we're doing is looking at adding language within this bill to allow landowners to use purple paint marks to identify their property lines, just as you can possibly use of signs. So.
God, that's less than 30 seconds. Good job to my friend, my friend from Rookville. Ain't quit. Wait, hold on a second. Question from members of the committee, number 12.
Motion at the appropriate time.
I'll take that motion. I saw Representative Roberts.
Did you want? I have some suggested language to make it a little more clear. I don't know that people are going to know what purple paint means. Can I, at the appropriate time, make it?
Appropriate time. Any other questions? All right, I got a motion. Do I have a second? All right, motion is second. All right, Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if we could insert on line 30, provided that at least one sign is posted at a major point of ingress to the property in a manner that is reasonably likely to come to the attention of a person entering the property and that the sign includes language describing that the use of purple paint signifies no trespassing. And then continue with, and provided that such marks are. This came from a Tennessee similar bill, and we just wanted to, I'm not going to know what purple paint means, and I don't think the rest of the public does. And so this would just at least require some signage. Happy to give the amendment too.
Representative Huddleston, what say you?
I think pretty much the language that's being used is, like I said, consistently with around about 16 states that's using the same method of markings. And it's basically saying that a landowner can use sign, purple paint, or nothing at all. But I think we mentioned the other day, like I said, if it does pass, then I think there's a transition period there that we know with the statewide agencies and all agencies would take in consideration of educating the public on the matter, just as all these other states have.
Okay.
So so yes,
You're saying we're smarter than Tennessee.
I would say so. Yes, sir.
Number 16. Number 16, Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your bill. I mean, is this a problem? Are a lot of people trespassing on property that they should not be trespassing on?
Yes, I was going to say a lot of times, within property owners and property owners' rights, a lot of times it's not only of just trespassing, but it's like I said, within criminal trespass, you've got damages. I mean, like you said, let's say it's within the hunting aspect, you got people stealing of stands and the cameras and things like that. On the forestry aspect, the criminal trespass, possibly on the forestry lands of dumping or stealing of timber, that type of thing. But just as in on the farming agricultural aspect, basically you would have damage. I mean, like you said, of coming onto your property, damaging fences or that type of thing there. Even say a homeowner that has 5 or 10 acres, as like you said, people's just trespassing on property. So this just identifies a way of using purple paint marks along with signs, and some of the property owners basically say within the signs, a lot of times they can remove the signs, destroy the signs, and this gives a economical and environmental friendly way. Number one, it's saving the cost on the signs, but it's the same workings of the purple paint of identifier.
Whit Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand what the representative is talking about with perspective of whether they're going to understand what purple paint is, but I don't think that should overcome what the bill intends to do. Frankly, if you're on somebody else's property, you shouldn't be on somebody else's property. We shouldn't even have to identify the fact that you're on somebody else's property. It is illegal to trespass, and so we're adding these provisions so to give them more notice. Like here's the property line. This is mine. This is yours. Don't go on mine. That's all. That's the basis of the Georgia Constitution. We're a private property state. We've got no trespass signs up, and this is just another measure. And I'll tell you, just from a perspective of a South Georgia legislator, what's happening in South Georgia is this: it's not that particularly when we have water that rises, people. I've got a video we can show you. People are going on the people's property, floating into people's property, into people's cow pastures, and then claiming they can do it because it's public land. It's just not. It's not true. So we're trying to bend over backwards to say you can't be here. This is not your property. And I do sympathize with the position of the representative, but I think everybody knows, basically, you cannot go in somebody's house, you cannot go on somebody's property, but we're just trying to notify people, this purple line, this posted sign says you can't come on my property.
Thank you. Number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to add that in North Georgia, it's also a problem. There are a number of people that have property that back directly up to the National Forest there, and it's okay to hunt. It's public land to hunt in the National Forest, but there are people that encroach and do steal stands and other feeders and equipment, and so I do agree this is needed, and it's also prohibitively expensive to try to fence every bit. It's a fortune to try to fence every bit of land that's private that backs up to the National Forest in North Georgia.
Thank you. All right, I've got a move on the Roberts Amendment. Is there a second? Hearing no, second amendment fails. I'll call the question on the bill as a whole. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. All right, it passes on the rules. We'll get the form signed for you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. House Bill 1201, added by the chairman, Representative Gaines.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, this bill just cleans up the Survivors First Act that previously passed the General Assembly that allows victims of human trafficking to have their sentences vacated in cases where it's necessary. But there was basically a First Offender Act and conditional discharge were left out of that original bill. So this just ensures that victims who are sentenced under First Offender Act or conditional discharge are charged the same or have the same opportunity as other victims.
Okay. Any questions? Do I hear a move? Move and second do pass. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Congratulations,
Thank you,
you're
Mr.
on the
Chairman.
rules. All right. Senate Bill 332 has been postponed to next week. All right, moving on. House Bill 1123. Carter Barrett, Representative Carter Barrett, excuse me. You got 2 minutes. You can do less if you'd like to. I suggest it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined this morning by Will Johnson, the State Resource Prosecutor with the specializing in elder abuse with the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. In 2018, House Bill 635 was signed into law. It was approved by the House in the House by a vote of 158 to 0 and approved in the Senate by a vote of 52 to 0. The legislation authorized judicial circuits in Georgia to create adult abuse multidisciplinary teams, or MDTs. The purpose of this bill is to make some improvements to that legislation. With this legislation, we are proposing the creation of a statewide MDT regional coordinator program within the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. The program will establish regional coordinators to work with the different MDTs around the state that are established within the different judicial circuits. It sets the expectation that each judicial circuit will establish a multidisciplinary team, provided, however, the regional coordinator program has been funded under the Prosecuting Attorneys Council. In addition, it proposes the creation of an Elder Abuse Justice Coalition. This bill is a legislative priority of the Georgia Council on Aging, the Coalition of Advocates for Georgia's Elderly, also known as COAGE, the Alzheimer's Association, the Georgia Gerontology Society, and the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. And representatives from each of those organizations is here today. It's also supported by GBA, CBA, and the credit unions. So,
Any questions? Number 12.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment which adds back some language that got dropped from subcommittee at the appropriate time.
Okay, all right. Number 13, Chairman Silcox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much for bringing this bill. This is, I think, so needed as our population ages and we have more and more elderly in Georgia, particularly with Alzheimer's being so on the rise. I really appreciate this. I think it's desperately needed, and elder abuse is really a problem. Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? All right, I had one member step out, so we're going to move on to the next bill. Come right back to you.
okay.
All right, House Bill 590, Representative Mike Cameron. You also presented the other night before you had to make the trek back to Walker County.
And I blew a tire last night, but I got right in a 20-foot tall car hauler.
Good deal. Tell us what you got.
Yes, sir. HB 590 is a bill that deals with online menacing of peace officers in the state of Georgia. It emanated from an incident last year at the police training center, where after that incident happened, a website was established called Cop City Cops, where information on approximately 2,000 peace officers in Georgia was put out online. And what this bill does, it prescribes a remedy for peace officers and their immediate families to prosecute people who release information, social security numbers, pictures of children at school, et cetera, et cetera. And that's, sorry.
All right. Any questions from members of the committee? All right. Representative Cameron, I know that we discussed an amendment. Have you satisfied?
We did. We added an amendment based on council adding a venue clause.
Subsection D?
Subsection D,
Okay,
sir.
that's what I need to know. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Questions from members of the committee? Do I hear a move? All right, move to pass second. All right, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, you're on the rules. All right, I'm going to call Senator Watson back up just in case we had any questions, but I'm going to call Senate Bill 443. Do I hear a move? All right, I got a move. Do I hear a second? Moving a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right, congratulations. You're on the rules, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Representative Barrett, come on back up. It's like magical chairs this morning. All right. Okay. I think the posture we're in, we need to move. All right. Moving second, do pass. I believe there was an amendment. Vice Chairman Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On line 78, I move to add the following: Georgia Secretary of State, Georgia Senior Living Association, Georgia Memory Net, Emory University, Georgia Credit Union Association, and Community Bankers Association.
Okay. Repeat that one more time so
Sure.
Legislative Council.
Georgia Secretary of State, Georgia Senior Living Association, Georgia Memory Net, Emory University, Georgia Credit Union Association, Community Bankers Association, and Georgia Healthcare Association.
All right. You've heard the Reeves amendment. What does the committee think? All right. Moving second for the Reeves amendment. All those in favor of the Reeves amendment say aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right. Reeves amendment on. Going to call the question on the whole bill. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, you're on the rules.
Thank you.
All right. Representative Bruce, come on back. All right. We got House Bill 882. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get him next. We'll get him next week. We'll get him next week.
You don't have to have them if you don't want.
All right. Yeah, that's true. All right. House Bill 882 that you have before us. I know there was an amendment requested by the Georgia Sheriff's Association. So the amendment that was requested was to allow that those with previous convictions could have their photo published, or if a BOLO was issued for an individual, or BOLO was in need of being issued for an individual, that we allow an exception for that because there was concern as written that would prohibit them from posting that mugshot. So, and looking to my past chairman, I do understand the chairman could propose an amendment himself. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Mr. Chair, I have rules if you have a quorum on that stuff.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Leader. All right. Okay. All right. What we're going to do is we'll come back to this next week. We've still got time. We got a few Saturn V rockets ready to put people on the moon, so y'all bear with us. We're adjourned.